this week and you found every which way but not to answer it. Just how many grooming gangs have we got in London?
So the situation in London in relation to young people being groomed is different to other parts of the country. So what we have in London is young people being groomed, use your words, not mine, to be using county lines. In relation to sometimes...
Okay, let me make it clear. Sorry, I wasn't clear enough. I was told I shouldn't be saying rape gangs. They are rape gangs. I'm talking about rape gangs. I'm not talking about country lines. But to go back, nobody likes me saying rape gangs, although they are rape gangs. Grooming gangs that I would call rape gangs. Tell me about them. How many of those have we got? Not country lines, those particular groups.
To avoid any misunderstanding, can she define what she means by that?
Yes, if you look at what's gone on in Rotherham, where there are people taking young girls, grooming them for sex, that is what I'm talking about.
We know in London there are issues about exploitation of young people, but they're not as defined by the member in her definition of what those types of gangs are.
So are you saying we haven't got the same sort of gangs that are in Rotherham, Bradford and lots of other places in the country?
Just for your misunderstanding, what does she mean by that?
You know full well what I mean by that. It's all over the television. You know exactly what I mean by that. These gangs of people that are grooming young girls for sex. Do we actually have those in London?
Today we need to give a full answer. Can she be clear what she means by that? I'm not clear what she means.
How much clearer do you want me to be? Look at the gangs that they've uncovered in other parts of the country. Do we have those gangs in London? It's a simple question. The answer is very simple. It's yes or no. I'm not asking you where those gangs are because the police might not want them to be disclosed. I'm asking you, do we have those sort of gangs in London?
I'm not sure why she's so nervous to say what she means. What?
Since the start of my activism in 2009, police raids, court cases, I actually thought when I walked...
Tommy Robinson has once again ignited a political firestorm in London, and this time, the reaction has spread faster and cut deeper than many expected. What began as a relatively understated video quickly exploded across social media, slicing to the usual noise of stage photo ops and forgettable press conferences. The footage, filmed in South London, was deliberately restrained. There were no shouting matches, no crowds, no chaos. Just Robinson standing amid quiet streets, police stationed at corners, and long queues outside public offices. The visuals alone conveyed tension and unease before a single word was spoken. Then came his message. Robinson accused Mayor Sadiq of presiding over a city not merely divided, but slowly unraveling, blaming a climate of fear, political maneuvering, and the abandonment of working-class neighborhoods. That message struck a nerve. Within hours, clips and reposts flooded timelines, igniting arguments that spilled across party lines. Some dismissed Robinson as a provocateur playing to his base. Others, including people who had ignored him for years, admitted that his words echoed frustrations they hear every day. Online discussions shifted quickly, asking why so many Londoners feel unsafe on their own streets and unheard by those in power. The moment had clearly tipped. The conversation was no longer just about Robinson. It was about London itself. Inside City Hall, the impact has reportedly been harder to shrug off than usual. According to insiders, the backlash has begun to weigh on Sadiq Khan personally. Publicly, he remains silent. Privately, aides describe a mayor increasingly unsettled by the growing number of Londoners who feel abandoned under his leadership. The most damaging blow wasn't about crime figures or transport delays. It came from the voices Robinson highlighted. Ordinary residents saying the city no longer feels like theirs, that familiar streets now feel alien, stripped of politics. Those sentiments are said to have shaken Khan more than any formal debate. For a leader who prides himself on being connected to his constituents, hearing Londoners question his ability to protect and represent them has reportedly cut deep. This controversy has shifted attention from policy details to public perception. Khan is no longer facing criticism over management style alone. His legacy itself is being challenged, and the silence from his office, whether strategic or not, is amplifying the backlash. With each passing day without a response, calls for accountability grow louder, placing the mayor in an increasingly dangerous position where narrative, not numbers, may define his future. Robinson didn't just attack Khan's handling of the city, he challenged how history might remember him. In the video, he posed a stark choice. Would Khan be remembered as the mayor who protected London, or the one who allowed it to slide into fear and discontent? That framing has since become a rallying point, spreading far beyond Robinson's usual audience. Political figures across the spectrum have weighed in. Nigel Farage described the moment on GB News as evidence of deepening unrest in the capital. Reform UK echoed those concerns, calling for a full review of crime and public safety policies. Even voices within Labour's broader orbit have broken ranks. A former Labour councillor openly acknowledged online that Robinson's growing influence reflects the party's failure to connect with struggling communities at this point. The issue can no longer be dismissed as a fringe rant or partisan attack. What began as a single video has evolved into a major political flashpoint, dominating headlines and private conversations alike. Questions about safety, identity, and leadership are now echoing through London's neighborhoods, forcing even politically disengaged residents to pay attention that Khan's refusal to address the criticism publicly has only deepened perception that he is out of step with the anger and unease spreading across the city. Each day of silence reinforces the idea that London's leadership is insulated from everyday realities, more focused on managing optics than confronting uncomfortable truths. What could have been a manageable controversy has instead become a slow-burning crisis, spilling across social media, talk shows, and street-level conversations. Robinson's video resonated so deeply because of how it presented London's struggles. There were no fiery speeches or theatrical rants. Instead, stark visuals carried the weight. Empty playgrounds, shuttered shops, and families navigating neighborhoods that feel increasingly neglected, paired with a quietly delivered question: is this really the progress London was promised? The message landed harder than any slogan ever could. That question traveled far beyond Robinson's base, circulating through podcasts, TikTok feeds, online forums, and everyday conversations in pubs and workplaces. Even those who reject Robinson's ideology have admitted the scenes reflect realities they recognize, even if they disagree with his conclusions. Meanwhile, City Hall's continued silence has compounded the problem. The strategy appears to be waiting for the storm to pass, but that gamble may be backfiring. Each day without acknowledgement allows others to define the narrative unchecked, painting the mayor as evasive and disconnected. The debate has now moved beyond crime statistics or local grievances. It has become a referendum on trust, belonging, and the soul of the city. Residents are asking harder questions. Who is truly speaking for us? Do our leaders understand what daily life actually feels like? When people who feel ignored begin turning toward controversial figures simply because they are willing to talk, the political consequences grow far more serious than a few viral clips. If this dynamic continues, the fallout could extend well beyond Khan's reputation. A growing block of disillusioned voters may abandon traditional parties altogether, empowering outsider movements and destabilizing a city long seen as politically predictable. The stakes for the mayor and for London's political order could not be higher.
What do you mean?
No. I'm saying exactly what I mean. I'm saying, have we got any of those grooming gangs in London?
I'm unclear, Chair, what is meant by the question. If you could spell it out, I can answer.
I've just spelt it out. Are you not listening? It's the sort of gangs that groom young girls at a young age for sex. Exactly how much clearer do you want me to be?
So we do have issues in London with young girls being groomed for county lines. Some of those girls are used for sex. And that's one of the reasons why I've set up things like the Lighthouse, funded by City Hall, why we've set up 4 hubs that help survivors of child sexual abuse, why we're investing in London's Violence and Exploitation Support Service, why I commissioned the HMI to look into the issue of child exploitation, why the Met Police Service now employs 1,200 child protection officers, why we have Operations Interior, first begun in London, why we're the only police force that began the V100, targeting the 100 most violent
I just
young
asked
people.
a yes-no question. So approximately how many of these gangs that I am talking about, that I do not know why you don't understand the sort of gangs I'm talking about, exactly, or...
What happens next is anyone's guess. But one thing is clear. The stakes have never been higher for Sadiq Khan and for London's political establishment as a whole. Khan's continued silence is no longer just a matter of optics. It is becoming a test of his ability to lead under pressure. With every day he avoids addressing the uproar, the perception of him as a detached and insulated leader hardens. For many Londoners, that silence feels personal. The city has faced mounting concerns over safety, economic strain, stretched public services, and cultural tensions, and many residents feel their worries are not just unanswered, but actively dismissed. Social media is now flooded with angry debates, viral street interviews, and calls for leaders to engage directly with ordinary people rather than hiding behind polished talking points. London, long accustomed to political spin, is growing restless. What people want now is a more carefully scripted language, but tangible action and honest engagement. The pressure isn't limited to Khan alone. Labour, the Conservatives, and smaller parties are all being forced to confront widening cracks in London's political fabric. Ignoring them is no longer an option. If these parties fail to admit past mistakes, address grievances openly, and propose real solutions, they risk ceding even more ground to figures like Tommy Robinson. While Robinson remains deeply polarizing, his blunt approach to issues others avoid has made him a focal point for frustration, particularly among those who feel ignored by mainstream politics. If that trend continues, London's political landscape could shift dramatically in ways the major parties are unprepared for. This controversy has now outgrown its original spark. It is no longer about one video, one protest, or even one mayor. It has become a symbol of a deeper divide between the governed and those who govern. Across the city, there is a growing sense that decisions are made behind closed doors, far removed from everyday struggles. History shows how dangerous such moments can be. Leaders who stayed silent during crises, from Grenfell to Partygate, saw their credibility collapse not just because of the scandal, but because they failed to speak when it mattered most. For Khan, the parallels are hard to ignore. Every hour of silence adds fuel to the anger, not only among opponents, but among former supporters. As City Hall stays quiet, more people turn to alternative voices simply because they are speaking. The narrative has already slipped beyond the mayor's control. The country is watching closely. Headlines are sharpening. Political rivals are circling. Some are openly attacking Khan, while others cautiously explore how to capitalize on the moment. The next move, or lack of one, could determine not just Khan's political survival, but the future direction of London's governance. What began as a viral controversy has become a stress test for the entire political order of the capital. The cracks are visible. The pressure is mounting. And unless those in power find a way to bridge the widening gap between themselves and the people they serve, London's political future may be rewritten in ways few anticipated. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and subscribe for more updates like this.